On March 16th, 1992, I was helping mix the Neurosis Souls at Zero album when a public opinion poll came on TV in the studio lounge. How do today's Americans feel about their government? 17% were satisfied. 60% were dissatisfied. Another 20% were angry. And 1% were enthusiastic. And there was Ted Koppel, the talking walnut, the Alfred E. Newman of the punditocracy, explaining it all away with his usual rehearsed lack of emotion. Then the image cut to the cold, wet outdoors of that noted Rust Belt carcass, Flint, Michigan, where selected downtrodden jobless men and soon-to-be jobless auto workers said they'd found the answers they were looking for in a blow-dried, pompadoured weasel named Mr. Bill. Later that fall, right before the '92 election, I got a call from National Public Radio, their Marketplace program, of all things, a business one, and they'd gotten together people like Ed Koch, the former mayor of New York, and some high-powered Ivy League professors to each put together a message to the next president of the United States. And they invited me, too. So far, my suggestions have not been heeded. So I think they're worth repeating. After all, at least Bush lost, but did anybody win? To the President of the United States and all 92 and future election winners, wake up. Get real. The way we're going will be like Russia is now in 2001. Call off the drug war. It's worse than the drugs. Gangs and crime won't end till prohibition ends. Decriminalize all drugs, even heroin and crack. Put users on prescription. There's always going to be some people in society who are going to be fucked up. Put them on prescription so they don't have to rob and kill people to pay the mob's high drug prices. Use the money saved from excess law enforcement and excess prison construction to treat people who want to quit. How can I trust you, Bill Clinton, when you're just like Bush, still pushing the drug war and boot camps, labor camps, concentration camps in America? Rehab costs 2/3 less than prison. In Europe, they call it harm reduction, and it's already been proven to work in Holland and parts of England. And what do you know? When they can get it on prescription, the crime rate's lower, HIV rate's lower, and even the drug use rate is lower than ours. And where's the drive-bys? Where's the gangs? Harm reduction will take a far bigger bite out of crime than redneck vigilante bullshit like 3 strikes, you're out. Marijuana is less harmful than beer or cigarettes. And as many of you know, the marijuana hemp plant, including the new strain that don't even have THC in it, can be made into paper, clothes, even fuel for cars. Think of what that would do for our family farms. And you wouldn't even have to inhale. And Tipper Gore. If you're really so concerned about victims of the violence that may or may not be media-inspired, why don't you volunteer your time at a battered women's shelter instead of running around the country trying to batter innocent poets, artists, and musicians? Homeless problem? Give them a home. Legalize squatting in all those empty buildings. Balance the budget, tax religion. We have a minimum wage. How about a maximum wage? Six figures and it's payback time. Barry Bonds could fix the San Francisco bus system all by himself. And no free trade with any country that treats its workers and environment as badly as Mexico does. Cut the military budget to zero. Our biggest national security threat now is the arms race we have with ourselves. But if there must be a military, why not retrain them to rebuild neighborhoods, feed hungry people, clean up toxic waste, much of it their own? And let's use our zillion-dollar militarized space program for something useful and send the FBI, CIA, DEA, NSA, and the Pentagon to Mars. And leave them there. And to really take a bite out of crime, how about some punishments that fit? Sentence slumlords to live in their own buildings. And polluters to inhale and swim in the mess they've made till they cleaned it up. And savings and loan sharks to pay back all the money they stole, just like if you held up a 7-Eleven and you weren't white. Lower the voting age to 5. See youth apathy magically end when they have a stake in their future and get to vote for their school boards. And why not their teachers? In a real democracy, let workers elect their boss. And neighborhoods elect their cops. So Rodney King brutality will finally end for good. And it's still not too late to replace those business-as-usual chums you call a cabinet with National Security Advisor, Ice-T. Secretary of Energy, Jerry Brown. Secretary of Commerce, Ralph Nader. Secretary of State, Noam Chomsky. Secretary of Education, Madonna. And if you need a Secretary of Defense, I've got just the qualification you need, a monkey wrench.